Oh, I pressed the wrong button. That's a bit silly. How's it going, everybody? I'm here. And we are ready to make some games. Oh, I've got my stream open. Whoop. Turn that off. Embarrassing. Dun, dun, dun. I gotta like put out the message on x.com, the everything app. Not that I mean, I think that gets me some viewers. Let's go. Hashtag Godot. Hashtag game dev. Yeah, I'm a game dev for real. For real. Okay, let's get the camera going. Hey, gee whiz, what is going on, my friend? Let's get the camera going. That's the wrong one. Desktop. Chat top. There we go. That's better. Thank you so much for the follow. I have not set this up properly. Oh, chat's probably not even working. Social stream? Good lord. I fucked up, guys. Activate source. Activate source. I don't know how I wasn't already following. Well, I don't know. I guess I'm mostly on YouTube, right? So, maybe that's why. I don't know if chat's gonna work, so I like didn't activate the app before I started streaming. I guess I'm about to find out. Make that look nice and neat, and the music's probably a bit loud. Oh. Actually, it's 24 dB. It's super quiet. Where's my button? Either way, how you doing, gee whiz? Your channel is popping off. I was checking it the other day. I was stalking you. It was, it's doing well, which is awesome. Love to see it. Lots of tutorials. I've been thinking I gotta get back in the game, gotta get back in the tutorial game. But I kind of just like chilling out and coding, which is nice too. Add folder. Jazz. You've been slacking? I think it's the opposite, man. You've been putting in like heaps of work. Super busy with school. Yeah, it's tough. I got like work at the moment and I'm dying. Those guys are kicking my ass. And I just like, I'd rather just sit around and do nothing after work, but I've got to at very least try to make the stream schedule. If I'm not making long form content, got to at least do that. Yeah, that works. I think. Alright. Stream looks normal. We've fixed all the bugs. Chat showing up, I can see that, which is good. Alright, so we still gotta do a collab. Yeah, we really do. It'd be sick. I don't know what, I'm so bad at coming up with ideas. I'm just not that like kind of creative person. I need to think of something that would be fun to do that probably won't. Like, I want to keep effort down, if that makes sense. Like, it has to be fun for us as well. That's what I really want to see. But I don't know how I'm going to achieve that. Alright, so I was playing this morning. Someone on the Discord asks about... Somebody asked Gambit for ideas. Yeah, he knows what to do, right? Someone asked about... SOCD. I had no idea what SOCD was. I had to Google it. Let me bring up the browser. It's some kind of like, I mean, I got too much stuff open. Let's get rid of this. All right, SOCD. What the heck is SOCD? Let's learn together. Simultaneous opposing cardinal directions. It's a bit of a mouthful. And it's got to do with keyboards. Like, I don't actually think it has anything to do with game input because basically SOCD is something that the keyboard does, not the game. So, but someone wanted to emulate that, I think, which is weird because like most people don't expect that to happen. Can I switch account? Do I have the other account? No, I don't. Okay. I guess, yeah, this will work.
No, Optima. What did you do? The rights are back at the house. I know we can't, but look at this damn poll. Everybody wants.
Should we implement last input priority similar to SnapTap? Can someone
implementation of SnapTap? So you know what? We're going to call it for what it is, SOCD. Now, of course, it wouldn't just be SOCD if we wouldn't have a rooting twist to it. So we actually made it a bit better. You can now choose between different SOCD resolutions. And if you feel a bit unnatural about SnapTap, well, we made it feel more natural. It's very simple when you...
It's a keyboard thing, so why would we... Anyway, the point is, we were... Oh, have we got static in the chat? We got static on the mic? Guys, can you guys hear that? Hang on a second. Okay, I fixed it. That was a bit annoying. Okay, so like basically what it is if you press the other, so typically, yeah, let me just reset the code. I've got to remember my keybinds for this particular setup. It's Control-Shift 11, and then we get rid of the output, and now it's all very readable. And so this is what I was playing around with in terms of WASD, yada, yada, yada. But typically you've just got a regular script. Yeah, we just comment that out and put in input dir equals, if you get vector, right? Like you just get a vector2 of the inputs that you have, which is typically WASD for a first person shooter. And it's cranky because this WASD input function is like, oh my God, get rid of that. And now it'll be cranky. No, okay, we're good. You know, like you press left, right, and it will be 0 because it's an input vector. So it's the length of that like particular vector that causes you to move. That's the direction. So if you press left, the vector of the vector2 would be negative x, like x negative 1 or something like that. And if you press right, it would be positive 1. If you put them both together, obviously they cancel each other out. And so they were asking whether or not it took me an embarrassing long time to learn about input vectors. It's like default now, eh? Like it's like one of those things where they like let you, well, I mean, they just give you that when you put the script in. And so I guess it's going to be even harder for new people to learn about it because it just doesn't exist. Like, well, it does exist. What am I saying? It just isn't something you have to learn how to do anymore, which is kind of weird. I'm got mixed feelings on the whole default script thing because it's really good for people who know what they're doing. But if you don't, then, I mean, even in my tutorial, I just like, they didn't pre-fill script. No, you had to do it yourself. And like, I had a different way of doing this. I would get X and Y separately. I think it's been a long time now. I just used the default. Although to be honest, in some of my more serious projects, I've used a state machine. So it might even look different to this. I'm not too sure. But yeah, so like obviously left and right equals 0. And they were asking me like, is there a way that you can do it so that it's just like the last input that you got? So if you press left and then you press right, nothing would, I actually don't know what they wanted me to do. Like what's the difference? Because you just stop. Dumb question. Anyone here know any idea how to do SOCD null binding SnapTap style? If you're holding A as an input and move to the left and you hold D at the same time, you'll start moving right instead of just 0. Good morning, brother. Hey, Red Rabbit. Welcome, welcome. In Little Ninja, I just handled WASD all separately, but we don't talk about that. Yeah, I mean, that works too, right? You can just like add them to some kind of vector. I don't know. It would work. It's fine. It's all fine. And so I tried to come up with something. Although, to be honest, like, I don't think I got very far with this. It was essentially just a big if check, and it didn't really work that well. This was me this morning when I saw this. I was a little bit inspired and like, oh, I wonder how I can do that. And the answer is, well, realistically, you would need to have some sort of, I reckon an array would probably work pretty well, but you sort of just keep track of each one. I don't know. Yeah. because my idea was like, well, you don't want to store it as a vector then, because obviously if you store it as a vector, it's not going to work the way that you want it. But if you're doing like an if check like this, you will get unexpected behavior depending on the order that you do things in. So what you're talking about in SOCD, maybe store the current key pressed in a buffer, and then if you press the opposite direction, switch buffer. Yeah, basically, there needs to be some kind of more detailed check. This was like a 5-second thing. And I think, yeah, you nullify the buffer. Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking. I don't know if I'm going to do that now because I feel like it would take a long time and I kind of want to move on to the thing. But someone asked, and I thought it was a really interesting idea as to like why you would even want that. Like, especially, I don't know, like it feels very strange to me. Yeah. So we bring that back. And obviously this if check kind of sucks. I don't like it. You would still need to like know, so you get all the different inputs. You probably created like a separate variable for all of these. What kind of upgrades are we talking about here? I can show you. I think I can, it's got a couple of warnings now that let's just re-comment that out and re-comment that out. Upgrades, people. So basically what we're working on in the esports scene, it's big and people love it. Yeah. I guess that's probably where it is, because all the esports I played were like MOBAs. I didn't play, like I played a little bit of Counter-Strike when I was a kid, but like not seriously. So upgrades. So we got laser sights, and then hand grips and ammo, which doesn't do anything. In fact, yeah. So like that's what we're working on at the moment, and I want to complete this system so that we can have like equipment for the weapons that we create and have them do different things. So that's sort of the main focus of the last couple of weeks, rather than the inputs. Get rid of this. Huge. Okay, there you go. Oh, that's probably, yeah, okay, that makes more sense then. If you're making like a multiplayer FPS, but I feel like, right, from what I read, it's all in the keyboard. Like you wouldn't want to bake it into the game, would you? Or like people just have these keyboards that do it for you. I don't know. Because I guess it affects, it also depends, like, I guess, because this is all to do with aiming, right? Or is it, because that's what I read, like you can stop very abruptly and be able to like manipulate the aim of the like CSGO. So huge was relating to you showing off your gun. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm pretty happy with what we've got going on, but I need to. So basically it's for strafing. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's what I thought. So with the upgrades, I was trying to make like a fairly decentralized system. I guess a way to put it would be like, oh, well, you know, you can make any upgrade you want, but this is for a game I'm working on, and doing it that way is, number one, taking a really long time, and number two, it's kind of annoying. So I'm actually going to go a different direction and just make dedicated functions for each upgrade. I know I only want 5 anyway, and I know what I want them to do. So I'm just going to make dedicated things for them rather than trying to make something really general that can do anything depending on like how I like to do it. Because I'm always in the like the template mindset where I'm trying to keep it as like open as possible. But screw that. It's too hard. And it's also like kind of annoying because every time I try to make changes, I keep having to change things as well. Technical debt is fine for personal projects. Heck, it's fine in corporate. Yeah, well, yes. I don't think people value the speed of which you do things more than anything at all. And like, Fallout has a really great upgrade system that you can draw inspiration of. I should check it out because I do want to make something that is kind of like, not so much like this is very Crisis kind of coded, where you can sort of like press X and it brings up the menu and then like choose what you want. I actually don't want to do this for the game I'm making. I want it to be a little bit more slow paced, and you come to a station and you do the upgrades there, and they will have like things that they do differently. Like, and I don't want it to be specifically like, oh, it's a scope, it's a hand grip. Like maybe it can be, I don't know, ammo. Specifically, I'm going to play around a lot with the ammo. Like the sight maybe is going to be just a sight, and the hand grip, I don't know. I'll think about it. But the ammo specifically, I want to do stuff like, you know, stuff that slows the enemy, stuff that burns the enemy, like damage over time, all that kind of stuff. So I think that'll be fun to try and work with. The weapon crafting system in Fallout is the most fun that you've ever used. Okay, yeah, I should check it out. I actually recently bought Fallout 4, so I can play that. Connecting signals. Ooh, he's already connected. Yes, this is the problem I'm having. All my tricky little systems are not working the way that I want them to, and it's going to be way faster if I just do it, especially because it's a prototype at the end of the day. Like I need to make something in the next 6 months to see if I can make it fun, and if it's fun, then we'll keep working on it. If it's not, I'll just go back to making YouTube tutorials. All right, so we have got a set of upgrades that I've created. Last time that I was on stream, we were working on the ammo, and I think I was coming to the realization that the ammo and the grip were going to run into problems with the fact that I wanted them to change the spray, and I wanted the ammo to change the ammo, but like I also want it to potentially change the damage and not necessarily do them both. And that was kind of the issue. Like the ammo, I want it. And the more I think about it, I think it's probably easier just to load up a new projectile with different stats. It's going to be way easier to do it that way. So that's the only thing it's going to do. The grip, I think I've already made the change that it just replaces the spray, and I'm just going to need to make like a handful of different ones to manipulate that. You make a new spray pattern with new parameters for each time. Or, so the other option is you create essentially like a stat sheet, and you have these manipulate the stats. So for example, in the spray, we've got like a spray multiplier. So essentially the higher this number is, the wider the spray. So we could have literally the grip just manipulate this number. That's it. That's all it needs to do to like change the spray meaningfully. Is spread and recoil separate in your game? If you mean recoil like the way that the camera moves, there isn't any in the game at the moment. I have made systems for that, but they were always linked. So in the project that I have with recoil and spray, there was both Emin Abba, welcome to the stream. Hello. Yeah, so for recoil, I did it was linked into the spray. So if the spray went in an upwards direction, the camera would also go in the upwards direction, and vice versa. If it went in a downward direction though, I would not point the camera downwards because I found that was very disorientating, if you know what I'm saying. So we will, I think, go in that direction. One follower until 100. Hey, Emin Abba, chuck us a follow, mate. You could be the 100th one. So I should have like a celebration. We finally did it. Right, so we've got the multiplier. I really got to get in a better habit of doing that. So yeah, I think it's going to be like, I'm not an FPS guy, but I think recoil affects vertical crosshair also. Yeah. TMX Skull, hello, welcome back. Yeah, I mean, that's something we can visit later. It would be interesting if we're like creating stats to reduce the spray, And you probably don't want to like have that affect the actual camera recoil. I don't know. Like it's not a multiplayer game. It's not going to be about precision shooting. Anyway, so I'm thinking. So here's the thing though. Grip. Okay, it wants to update the spray. We don't want to have to feed it a new spray every single time. I actually went, like, I'm pretty sure I spent the entire stream doing that. But ammo, we do want to have the option. Do I have spray patterns? Yeah, I do, but I don't know if I'm going to use them for this particular project. Spray, random spray profile. So this is what they look like. You can essentially draw a path 2D, and that will get fed in to the weapon system to like make the next shot go to that particular point. And if it reaches this final point, it just like repeats. Continue. I actually don't know what happens. The way I've done it is just so like the max limit is 30. So like if it gets to 30, well, there's 30 points, there's 30 bullets in the clip. So yeah, but yes, I do have the ability to do that. Do I double barrel shotguns? Yeah. I have a single barrel shotgun. I haven't done double. It's an interesting concept. I mean, realistically, it's a gun with 2 bullets. Yeah, this is, I tried it with like a path, because the challenge I have is that all the weapons are resources, not like nodes. So they can't actually instantiate this. The weapon manager, which I've got that here, which is here, actually needs to hold the spray and the recoil and the bullets and all that kind of stuff. It needs to do all the work. So I've got like an array in here, which is like holds all the different spray patterns, which makes it difficult to target for these upgrades, because you need to like hit the right one. And then if you change, then you need to update it, but we'll work on that. Basically, I want different things for like the 2 different upgrades, and that's causing an issue because I was trying to make a single function to do both. So we had the grip that I really just wanted to affect like the amount of spray, and it's just a single variable in this spray pattern, right? It's a single variable. I really don't need to I don't want to create like another spray profile for every single like grip. It just doesn't make sense. I just need to hit this slider, reduce it by some kind of amount. But the ammo, I do want to have the option to load a projectile. So the issue is that the upgrade, weapon upgrades, this class here, I've got this function called equip upgrade or load weapon upgrade. I can't remember exactly because I'm just so good at naming functions. So projectile. No, what am I doing? I want the grip upgrade, where we take the weapon slot that gets passed in from the weapon manager, and we essentially like load up the new spray, and then we emit that back, and we've got a function on the weapon manager that can take that. So that's fine, but I don't really want to do that, do I? What I really want to do is just change that number, because otherwise it low-key kind of is just going to be more work than I'm willing to put in. Let's be honest. So I'm going to comment that out, and we'll just have like an export variable. Blue2Bird, hello, welcome to the stream. Export var. Now I've actually got a function in the spray profile already called spray multiplier. So I've created a variable called spray multiplier stat change. It's a horrible name, once again, but we can actually, hey Lance, how are you? Yeah, we're doing good. It's a horrible variable name, but we can use that to actually reduce it by some kind of percentage amount. So if it's 1, it will be 100% of the path spray multiplier. And if we increase the number, well, it's actually going to be an improvement, which I don't know if I like, to be honest. But the math is like minus current spray multiplier times 1 minus spray multiplier stat change. So if it's like, so that's kind of like, I don't like that. So we could change it to a positive integer. I'm trying to think. Good to hear. Yeah, naming things. Yeah, I'm horrible at it. So I don't like this math. I think we need to change that math, but we've got the function already. So we can update that number, but getting to that is really the challenge. So like I was saying, it's held in a, are we in the right function? No, we're not. Weapon state machine. So we are holding that. Here's the initialization. Add spray profiles. So we basically hold it in a dictionary, which references the weapon name, because like I was explaining before, the weapons can't actually hold this information because it is a node. So we instantiate it under the weapon, and we actually don't need to add it to the scene. It's one of those weird things where it could just be instantiated and then that's it. Maybe I need to address that. I don't know. Like, I need to do some research if that matters, because I don't need it to be in the scene. I just need its information. It could almost be a resource. Now that I've kind of gone away from spray pathing for this particular project, I could just take that out and not use it. I don't know. I guess I think I'm just going to work with what it is rather than try to change it too much. Accuracy. I think I'm just going to create a variable called accuracy. And I don't know. Let's just make it 10. We're going to have to comment all of this out. Hang on a second. We're just going to have to think about how this actually factors in. Path. I meant to write pass. So when we calculate the spray, we've got this function called getSpray. Basically, at the last point, when we get the position of the raycast, we call this function getSpray multiplier, or we call it while we're getting this. So we got the position. So I've got like two different ones. So that's spray pathing. I should comment this out. Get rid of this. We've got the random spray. So basically we just get a vector, which is essentially just random from noise. And we're going to multiply it by the spray multiplier, which is obviously now getting changed by this stat change. But I want to change this. This really just needs to be accuracy. All right. Spray multiplier stat change is not. Spray multiple update spray profile accuracy, and I guess it's like accuracy equals accuracy. Okay, so the grip has accuracy, and it's going to improve the spray by some arbitrary amount. And if I'm saying like, maybe this is just 100. Is my numlock not? Hello, keyboard. So if accuracy is 100, we're just like factoring it up. So it'll just be like 100 minus accuracy. Now this math actually works perfectly fine. I do it all the time, but I'm wondering if I can make something better. I'm just about to break out the Excel spreadsheet. So prepare your eyes, because it just be like that. Waiting for a printer connection. What the heck, bro? Oh, I forgot to set up my stream on YouTube. Whoops. Got to turn that monetization on. Okay, done. Oh wait, I was trying to get LibreOffice going, but it's gone now. What happened to it? Get back here. Okay, here we go. I don't know if you guys want to see that. I don't know how to do dark mode. I feel like it's already in dark mode, but custom property font, statistics, general. How do I change it? File, properties, no. I don't know how to use LibreOffice, but I'm too cheap to pay for like to pay for Excel. Hell no, I'm not doing that. Options. Application colors, document background. Let's go like that. And then I guess text needs to be changed. Let's just apply. Oh my God, so much better. Thank God, I've saved us all. So if we get accuracy as a base 100. So basically I just want to project this out and see what it looks like. So essentially we've got the spray, the random spray multiplier. It's just a regular old number. So if we go to Control-Shift-11 and say, oh, it's 2.69, that's its starting number. So it starts at 2.69. And accuracy starts out at 100. And if we improve that by 10, like, put this off screen. And so the new amount would be, let's check the math. Current spray multiplier. So that's equals this minus, in brackets, current spray multiplier. So C1 again, multiplied by, I guess you would say 100 minus the accuracy. And we'll have a base starting point. I guess we'll probably need to key that as well. So B2, and then we can just press F4. Well, is F4 not the key that you press? And it's going to be 269. Now, what if it's 110? That plus that, right? We get some pretty strange behavior. It goes up. Is my math right? That is the question. B2, C2 minus C2 multiplied by B2 and B3. So that's quite a big number. So it's going to go up. Realistically, we need to reduce it, but it goes crazy as well. So this math kind of sucks. We could divide this all by 100 to like lower it all. And it goes 2.461. So that does reduce the magnitude. We still have the direction issue. So rather than do that, we could just add it instead. So then we get like a better behavior. Let's just put some numbers out here. What's this? Why is this not plus? 4 B2, because that's your base. Get a base stat, and then we'll go with a 10. Okay, then we go with this. Right. So that's better. I'm happy with that for now as like just an equation that we use. This also needs to change to B2 as well. B2, right. It's just a percentage increase at the end of the day. So if this was like 200, hang on a second, what happened there? Oh, all right, I forgot to change the first one. I see. All right, awesome. So that's going to be a little equation that we use to improve our accuracy. And if it was double, it would be, and if it triple, it just goes to 0. How does that work? Oh, because it's multiplying off the last one. Would ours work the same? It's going to go off like the previous one. Do I like that? What if this was 300 and we go into the negative world? So we'll have to put a cap on it. And I would say like not only a cap on, like we don't want it to go past 0 into negative, but we also don't want it to go like, have like an accuracy cap. Maybe make it like, 0.5 or something like that. I don't know. Like we'll work on that, but that's literally a stat I want. I just need to convert this equation here into code, which should be easy enough. So it's not really that much different. We change this to a plus. We also need a base. So because we've got accuracy, right? And then we also probably need a var base accuracy. Accuracy? Whoa. And that can just be equal to accuracy, right? To start with. And then the equation will be current spray multiplier plus current spray multiplier multiplied by, and then this is where we'll go base accuracy. And it'll be minus that divided by base accuracy to get a percentage. Base accuracy is always going to be 100? I don't know. It's not happy. Accuracy not declared in current scope. I just can't spell. Awesome. And this needs to be wrapped. I just don't want to get like a bomb-dash issue. So I'm just going to put this extra brackets around this section here. Jesus. So that we know that this happens. Right. So we go that divided by that multiplied by current spray multiplier. And that should return a new multi that I'm happy with. Now that we're happy with the math, we just need to implement this in code. So we made a bunch of changes, which is totally fine. What we can do is if we go back to the grip upgrade, since this is the one that's affecting the accuracy. So this is an improvement. So it's going to need to always be added to the base. Yes, I'm happy with that. And instead of connecting the signal, I mean, add spray profile is the signal that I created to, like, it's dedicated to this, right? Let's have a look. It's the weapon state machine. Add upgrade. We want initialize upgrade, remove upgrade, add spray profile. So it's basically like we instantiate, and I'm using this a lot, but I just need to create a function. NA Games, League of Legends uses this equation to convert the whole number to a stat. 0 minus 1, x divided by x plus 100, 0.5 equals 33%, 100 equals 50, 200 equals 66. That's an interesting copy text. It's an interesting one, eh? League of Legends. I'll just get rid of the text. 0 minus 1 point x divided by x equals, right. I know that they've just x divided by x plus 100. Oh yeah, fair enough. I'm like literally just turning it into a percentage. Really, at the end of the day, that's all I'm doing with this like equation. Like the math is pretty much like, it's pretty basic. It's just like this bit here. If we just copy that. Yes. Should have thought my comment more. Oh yeah, I mean, I actually understand what you're saying, but like, so yeah, if it's 100, it's a 0%, and if it was changed to 110, it would be 10%, right? So, well, negative 10% because I'm like, I guess I could just switch the numbers rather than having to add it. It's actually kind of funny now that I look at it like this. I could go base. I could go number minus base. Yeah, I might do that rather than having to do, what am I doing? I'm adding it. Does it make sense to add it or subtract it? I guess it makes sense to subtract it because it is at the end of the day, it is the spray multiplier that actually makes it, like a bigger number makes more spray, essentially. So it does make sense to say this is a minus, and it's not base accuracy minus accuracy, it's accuracy minus base accuracy. And yet, I think NA Games, I actually think you're onto something when you say like 50 equals 33%, 100 equals 50%, and then 200 equals 66%. Because each time it doubles, it's like not actually going up by twice as much. It's going up by like 33% or whatever. So that's actually probably better. Some kind of diminishing return. So it's like logarithmic. Mine's going to be really linear, which will look weird. Or I don't know, actually. I guess we'll see. Yeah, I don't know. That's fine for now, though. The good thing about it is if we ever change our mind, we can come back to this. So var new accuracy. Yeah, it's nice. So what is it? X divided by X plus 100. Yeah, that is just a percentage at the end of the day. Isn't it? I don't know. Anyway. I know that they've got like a lot of writings on it. Equals base accuracy. Actually, what is accuracy? We don't even need to. Accuracy equals base accuracy plus. Oh, this isn't the function. Accuracy equals accuracy. This has to be accuracy equals base accuracy plus accuracy. Because now I'm just going to feed in the improvement, which should be fine. Right. Great. Cool. Okay. Anyway, back on track. Let's ditch. Or actually, now I have to make a dedicated function. Like I said at the start of this, we're just going to go and make functions for all of these because it's getting a bit crazy trying to over-engineer this. And I decided that it was not worth the time. So we have got add spray profile. That's fine. We can keep that. I think I'll just make a function called update accuracy. And it's just going to take a slot. So which weapon, basically, weapon slot, and also the accuracy. All right. It's going to return void. And essentially, we need to get the spray profile, which is this, and call the function, what was it? Update spray profile. Let's change that function name so that it has this accuracy name. And we'll go back to the player, weapon state machine, update spray profile accuracy, and we'll basically just feed that in, right? That's it. It's actually pretty simple. And we just need a way to call this from the grip. So we can come back to the grip. We can do something pretty similar to what we've done here. We've connected the spray profile. We don't need to do that anymore. We can, rather than connect that function, connect the one that we just created. Rocket launcher profile, weapon state machine. Okay. Update accuracy. Right. And then we go to the, I'm getting lost in all the scripts. Grip. That accuracy. And so now in upgrade weapon, we can just call that, we can just emit the spray profile changed. We change this to update accuracy. Actually, on grip, upgrade, equipped. Right, that's a bit more descriptive. And we pass in the slot and the accuracy. Right. Now this should work a lot better. We're going to pass this number up and it'll get added to the base accuracy of our weapon. So overall, very simple. We can add stats if we need to. I'm not really sure what else we could do with the grip. I think if we wanted to build out more depth, this is all just random spray. And I guess if you wanted to get like, I know in some games, like I'm going off the top of my head, I used to play a lot of PUBG back in like 2016 or 2017 when that game was really big. And I feel like in that game, certain grips did like left and right or up and down, depending on what you equipped. Stuff like that. That could be cool. We're not, like I said, I'm not really going for like a military sim kind of feel for this. So I don't know what I want to add. So I'll think about that. Other kind of stats, but right now it's just got one. So we'll go with that. Be a laser. Basic hit scan. Okay, so this should just work, right? Let's run it. So I'll do a little test. This is our basic spray pattern. Go to the left here. Let's bring it up and put on the first grip. I mean, it was only a 10% improvement. Let's up the number. It did look better. Control Shift 11. Come back to the grip upgrade 1. Let's just make it 100. Let's make it 50. And we'll do 2 just in case I decide to press the wrong one. And then, yeah, I do have to put a cap in as well. I forgot about that. Definitely an improvement. Yeah, big time. No recoil? Nah, dude. It's one of those things, it's just like, I know how to do it, so I'm not rushing to put it in. I will put it in, but I'm trying to think what I'm going to do. It's actually pretty interesting. I probably should be using the version of this that that has that already. If you know what I mean? Like I've got a version of this project that you can buy on itch that has this built in. Now I feel bad for asking prior. No, it's all good. I actually didn't even think it. I didn't even think it was a neg or anything like that. I just thought you guys were like asking genuinely. But yeah, I probably should be working with that. But I guess I'll get on the bright side. I'll get another chance to look at it because the other one I did was like really complicated. It was considering a lot of different variables. It was doing all this different crap, and then like maybe I can simplify it because it was a very complicated system and it's got a lot of sliders. I wonder if I can show you guys. It's really slow to load. Quit the project list. FPS Pro. It takes a bit because it's on the NAS. It's on the network. And so like it's made for that, like you can change it. Would be cool to see a recoil pattern implementation with 2D curves. I do it with 2D. It's not curves, it's a pattern 2D. You can do it with curve. I don't like it as much. I don't think it gives the same kind of result because a 2D curve is less that you can't build something as well. Like in my personal opinion, you cannot make something as molded or as like built. It's not intent. It doesn't have the same kind of intent that a spray pattern would. So I think Path 2D is actually better than Curve, but you know, they both produce very similar effects. Anyway, what am I trying to show you guys? I am trying to go to the player and go to the camera, and I've got all these different sliders like spray parameter max X, max Z, screen shake bounce response. So I think the higher this number is, what does it say? I don't have a description. Is the like, if it goes to the left, how much it's going to shift back and sort of nullify out. Path 2D and Curve 2D are the same data type. Yeah, but here, I'll show you. Hey, I've got a video dedicated to this. Where's my channel? Where's my channel? Was it the last video I made? Perfect patterns.
One of the most common features in an FPS game is the way that it handles spray from the weapons. Some games use this as a way to control the difficulty and give players a way to
1,000 comments, that can't be right.
Others. I'm thinking about Counter-Strike.
What is going on here? That's not.
One of the most common features
That's
in
better.
an FPS game is
Only 3,000 views. What a flop.
the way that it handles spray from the weapons. Some games use this as a way to control the difficulty and give players a way to demonstrate their skill against others. I'm thinking about Counter-Strike and Valorant. In other games, it's random and mostly there for immersion. Without a good spray, an FPS game can be left feeling dull and lifeless.
Yeah, I like you need it. This is like pretty important, I think. It's one of the most important things. If you're making an FPS game, like making the screen shake and like the FPS like recoil system good is pretty important to the overall feel of the game. Without it, it just doesn't feel like you're doing anything.
Which is why I've been working on my FPS spray for a really long time now. My last video was in November 2021. Now, I haven't been working on spray non-stop since then. That would be crazy, but I have been iterating over it for the various FPS templates that I have created. And
I just realized, sorry, it's not on screen properly.
Spray in your FPS game. Even though we're simulating spray in a 3D space, we're actually faking the whole thing. It's all happening on a 2D plane, which is your...
You added it to rounds instead. You could have, okay, so has recoil ever been added to ammunition or has it always been applied to the weapons? I guess like it depends. They could fall down while shooting. It's a good point because that does actually affect recoil, right? I don't know guns that well, but I know that like the different kinds of bullets would change the way they behave, right? So yeah, maybe.
For this, we really just need two things. A way to count how many shots you've been firing, or as I call it, the shot count. Some people refer to this as heat, and a vector 2 to manipulate the origin point of your raycast. We can draw up the screen to simulate the spray for the weapon. Even though this is all coming from the camera projection, we can still add a second raycast to ensure the line from the weapon is correct. One thing is for sure, every FPS game needs to have some kind of spray that happens as the weapon is fired. But first, I need to spray you with a word from this video's sponsor, Zenva.
Go click the link.
Then you absolutely...
Fire guns is a hobby I've been knocked over a few times, but never in an FPS. Yeah, well, I don't think that would be very fun. I've never fired a gun, which is pretty hilarious considering like making an FPS game is my entire thing on YouTube. But, you know, it's like, I probably should get to that at some point. It's just kind of like a lot of effort in Australia to do that. So I haven't, you know, and I don't even think you can. Like they don't just, you can't just go to a firing range here and just like shoot a gun. They're like, hold on a second. We need to make sure you're not a psycho. Being lazy. You forgot to set up the thing properly and you didn't rest it in your shoulder correctly. So now you're like, I still remember my friend, he went to Dubai and he went to shoot guns and like he showed me this video, this is when we were in high school, of like his little brother. They like pranked him. They like set him up to hold the gun wrong and then like let him shoot it and it like fucked him up. It just went straight into his shoulder. Pretty hilarious. I guess we'll skip the sponsor. Go, if you need to learn how to make games, go to Zenva.
Zenva Academy. They offer easy
They're pretty cool.
courses that are ideal for both beginners and
And they paid me for this video even though it only got 3,000 views, so shout out to them. Actually, I should probably...
for structured learning pathways.
Yeah, I know, it was pretty funny.
Is how they make learning fun and practical. You get professional video tutorials, written lessons.
Oh wait, Ali32, they had you fire guns with no school, bro. Also, what school lets you fire AK-47? What the hell is wrong with you? What is going on? Firing AK-47s at school with no hearing protection. What? I can't even fathom that. What is going on? In high school, AK-47s in high school. Dude. That's actually pretty sick. I'd be so keen if I was in high school to fire guns.
And interactive quizzes. Plus, you'll work on real projects building games in different genres like open world, RPG, and even FPSs. Also, Zenva isn't just about Godot. They have courses on Python, Unity, Unreal, and other tools. With one subscription, including a 7-day trial, you unlock over 250 courses and 32 learning pathways.
Yeah, we had uniforms and we weren't even allowed to use our phones. No, the phones were a little bit different back when I went to school, but like you weren't allowed to have your little flip phone. Military drill, standard thing in Iran. Okay, yeah, cool. Fire range teaches gun safety. All right, military drill is like, I guess if it's a military school, that's different. Still, though, it's kind of wild.
The first 50 people that use the link in the description or pinned comment will get an extra 20% off the first year on your annual Zenva subscription on top of any existing site discounts. That's a huge saving for a world of game development areas. Zenva is the place to be. Grab this offer and, of course, Counter-Strike, which has very clear patterns that give the players an avenue to own their skills by memorizing the pattern and improve their ranking. Other games that do this are also Valorant.
I actually really like the way Valorant does it. It's not too like shaky, but obviously it still has like a really clear pattern. It has more randomness than Counter-Strike, I think. I haven't played that much Valorant. I literally just like downloaded it and played it. I played the like opening bit to like get a feel for it. Have you ridden an alligator before, Chef? No, dude, way. Like, that's crazy. I'm Canadian. We shoot rainbows here, not bullets. Yeah, well, this is like literally the idea of firing a gun here is like just not something that anyone ever consider that they need to do. It's just...
And Rainbow Six Siege, the bullets follow a clear path and there's a little bit of randomness.
You know, I've never played Rainbow Six, but I watched this video of the spray and it looked insane. Path node is just making it visual. Yes, but also, oh hey, we got a follower. Who followed? Jaw1993, congratulations, you are the 100th follower, which is pretty cool. I thought I was Australian. I am Australian. I was just agreeing with the idea of rainbows. I guess it's more like, we shoot rainbows here, not bullets. Yeah. It's the same in Australia. We don't shoot no bullets. Anyway, yeah, I guess what I'm trying to look for in this video is where I actually did mention the difference between a curve and a path, rather than sit through this entire thing. Here we go.
Or just to modulate if we want to. Now I know what some of you are thinking, that I could just use a curve for this and it wouldn't need to be a node. I could make it a resource and I wouldn't have to load anything at runtime. I could just pull up the data when I need it. And yeah, you would be right. I tried it and I didn't like it. And it's not 100%
Big land masses with ain't nothing. We got the desert, you got the snow. It's all the same.
100% predictable. With the path 2D, the points drawn can directly translate to what's cast from the view.
Yeah, so the big thing I like with the path 2D is the fact that you can use a function, I don't even know, spray profile. You can use a function called get curve, get point count, and then just like get point position. I don't think you get this with the curve. I think you have to like, so get point count. And with the curve not the curve 2D, inherits resource. Where's curve? It's a little bit different. I did do them. Do you have to do a sample, get point value, index? I don't know. Doesn't matter. It's not important. Basically, is I considered the two and I preferred the other one. It's not that big a deal if you want to do it the other way. Personally, like I do like drawing them, but the big advantage with curve, the 2D version you can get in code. I might not have experimented with that. Yeah, what I used is like literally if I go and open a spray profile and then I wanted to add like a curve. So you can go like export var spray curve. And it would be a curve 2D, right? And then you could do this, right? You could just write them out. I did that for my original one and it kind of sucked, man. Like drawing them out is a really miserable, like writing them out and then testing to see if you're happy with it. Not for me. I'd rather use curve. And the good thing about this is at the very least, you can get an idea of what you want to do. The disadvantage of using curve is you can copy it from path node, but then I guess like you're sort of just like, I don't know, like, I don't know. You'd have to draw it out anyway, so you might as well just have it be something you can draw. I mean, it's none of this is really wrong or right. It's fine if you want to do it that way. At the end of the day, it all works. It all works and it all produces a pretty similar result, which is that you can have a curve play out on the screen. Anyway, I was here to show you guys the recoil that I made for this, which is just like all this different screen shake bounce, no description available, head bob. So basically there's two things that this camera does. It does the bob, and the sway for the weapons. So essentially, if I run this, it's going full screen, which means you guys are, I suppose that's fine, to be honest. So we can do it here. Oh, sorry, I hit that. It's actually pretty gentle. There's a lot of left to right, but the upwards follows like a pretty standard kind of, you can tell that it's just following the path, but at a less rate. So it's not like path goes up more than the screen shake does, which is pretty much modeled after like Counter-Strike. Oh, wrong weapon. Give me some more ammo. That's basically how I did it with this one. I might approach it a bit differently with the other with the new project. I don't know. We'll see. And we can see how this sound off. There's no sound. There's no sound in the project. It is what it is. What was I gonna say? The code for this is pretty bulky. How many lines? We're doing like 300 lines. The recoil is, this is called recoil. Once again, naming is called recoil, but it actually does the actual arms that move up, not the camera. I'm pretty sure. Weapon node, weapon node, weapon node. Yeah. You can't hear anything on desktop, or can you hear me speak? If you can hear me speak, then that is all you're getting at the moment. I can turn the music back on. There's no audio in the project at the moment. So, better than what you did? Well, I have been working on it a long time. I've been thinking about it for a bit. So I have that advantage. Okay, so where's the main camera? Shake camera. So I got this function essentially, and I connect all these signals. It's actually kind of wild when I think about it. I've got like, I do it with tweens because I feel like I get a better result than, what's the other thing? A lerp. So I do lerp the camera, but for the screen shake. And that is mainly because this music feels really loud to me. So I'm just going to turn it down a tad. The main reason that I decided to lerp, so what I'm lerping is the left to right. So when you run the game, it's very subtle. The screen shake, the left and right screen shake, you can't see it that much. You can sort of, if I get close, you can see the crosshair moving up and down. It's like that V shape. That's what the lerp's doing. And you kind of like, if you're lerping one thing, it gets hard to lerp another. So you could do lerping for both upward spray and like the head bob or whatever, but you need to separate the two nodes, which is fine. You can do that. Implementing interruptible reloads like shotguns without making a whole other firearm class. Oh, I've got a video on that. It's an hour long. It's a very hard watch, I've heard, people have said. But yeah, so like I basically tween the camera upwards, and I connect all these bounce back signals. And when the tween finishes, it fires off a bounce back that goes in the opposite direction, essentially. That's all it does. It works pretty well, but yeah, I think, I don't know, like I think people would be surprised to learn that I use tweens for this. I'm not too sure. I should probably make a video on it someday, because the video I made about spray patterns was mostly around like the actual patterns, not around like making the camera move. So essentially, like you take the spray from the weapon, and you also have like a magnitude, which is like a vector 4. So it's like X, Y, Z, and W is like the power. So X, Y, Z, obviously that's the direction. So if you want like a more powerful Z, which is like the sight, like the tilt. So when you shoot the gun, it's like the shaking from the rotation. I don't know. Hopefully you understand what I mean. Hang on a second. Draw a GIMP. Get the GIMP out. It's like this direction here on the edges. That's what your Z does. Right. X does left and right, and then Y does up and down, right? So that's Y. This is X, and this is Z. And then W is overall magnitude. So like if W is like a high number, then all the shakes will be way stronger. In my tests, I've made a gun listener, so controlling or adding them could be easier. Tweens are so confusing. Tweens can be, once you learn how to use them, you'll use them for so much stuff. Like if you just need to like increment something, like you could use delta. Delta's fine, but
Also, sometimes, like, I don't know about you guys, but I don't like putting things in the process function. I'd much rather just, like, if I shoot a gun, that doesn't need to happen in the process function at all. Like, I can scan the input in the input function, and when I do hear the input for fire, I can fire off a weapon, and that has a single function. And it doesn't need to be in, nothing happens here in the process. And then what I do is I listen for the animation to finish. So that's how I know that the shooting's finished. I also have a timer in some of my other projects. So I'm just like, the frequency of the shot is done in a timer. And so once that timer expires, fires off another signal and all that, yada, yada, so on and so forth. Same with tweens. If you want something to tick down, but you're not in the process, you can use tweens, you can use a timer. So yeah, they're really good for that kind of stuff. If you just want to tween a property from X to X, X to Y, I don't know, you can just create a really simple tween for it. And so I really love them, especially for this kind of movement. You can get a very immediate movement that feels very punchy. And then you can have the return feel a lot softer because it's another tween and it's separate and you can set it up differently. Camera position to 0. I'm trying to think what the return function is called. Shake camera, camera rotate, camera position to 0 really just sets the rotation to Z0. Camera position to 0, camera position tween to 0. Okay, so it's just like, I have a separate function, which doesn't make any sense, but whatever. I don't even know when that's being called. Might just be like, I need to take that out. Is anything calling this? No. So that was probably just a mistake. So yeah, so I really like that you can have like a certain behavior and then having the return of the camera be a different kind of behavior. Using the animation ending is right for shooting. It's fine. It works. Yeah, I did it in my tutorials. That's what I do. The way they operate on their own makes it hard to put them in code patterns, especially because I love using Delta. Well, if you like using Delta, yeah, they're not gonna, I feel like that's sort of, I don't like using Delta. I don't like using the process function. So for me, tweens are like literally the thing I need to use for anything to work. Like, it's just like if you want something to move over a set period of time, you have to use it either in the process or you make a tween, realistically. Quit the project list. Let's get back to, don't save that. FPS game. So, where were we? We were updating the damage and the grip. That was working, so we're good there. Let's look at the ammo. The ammo is different because realistically, I do want to be able to change projectiles, but I also want just sometimes to change the damage, right? So like, is there a way that we can update the damage? Or is it always going to be a change in projectile? I think I legit do a bunch of math manually, so I don't have to use timer nodes. And that's fine. Like if you're more comfortable doing it that way, then that's fine. I think like a lot of people get caught up in like what should or shouldn't be done. And it's like, I mean, I have opinions and I'll tell you, but like I don't in any way like take it as saying like, I think you're doing it wrong, because that's not true. Like, and I'll come off as sounding very strongly opinionated or like very, like I'm not trying to say that you shouldn't do that. I'm just saying I don't like to do it. And if you like to do it, that's totally fine. And if it works for you, that's great. You know, I think that's the best way to look at it. And we can talk about different things. And like, I like to hear about people's different ideas, you know, like, is that using Delta? It's like literally something I've never done. And maybe it's worth learning how to do it so that it can improve like my abilities in some way. I should probably sit down and look at how it's done. I've been spoiled, I guess, from Godot having the timers and just never needing to learn it. All right, we're looking at the sprint. No, I'm looking for the damage. Ammo upgrades. Now,
Perhaps they don't influence damage. Perhaps they only change the kind of projectile that is loaded. To my mind, it is whatever's right for the project at hand. There is no such thing as only one solution for everything ever. There will always be new challenges that require a new approach. Yeah. And sometimes you have to break rules to make things work. You're actually doing right by not using the process function because it's more performant. Yeah. I like it because I don't have to worry about unexpected behavior from using process function, because if it's calling something every single tick, then sometimes like things get a bit weird and I don't like that. So I prefer to use other ways of doing it. Like movement, obviously you have to. You could probably get away with, you could probably do some kind of like callback. I don't know. But like, yeah. I've made some unperformant games. Don't worry about that. Okay, so the question is, should this improve damage? And perhaps it should just have a projectile to load. And could the projectiles to load, which is just a pack scene, like it is what it is. Interestingly for this one, and then potentially for spray as well, something that I've just realized is that I don't want this to apply to every single weapon that's around. Because I'm using resources, if I make a change to the resource, the weapon resource, it changes every single gun in the game. So I do need to be careful about that. Now, spray's okay because it gets reinstantiated every time you pick up a weapon. But ammo, I have to be more careful about. What amazed me was an autoload script that I set up with a dictionary. It contained all the projectiles at start and end points, velocity and flag, indicate whether they reach their termination. It's interesting. I just manually turn process function on and off when it's needed. Oh, okay. The delta thing I do is also because of the micro timings for my bullet system. Yeah, well, if you need more specific timings, like I think it's less than half a second, you should probably use delta. So point, it handled sustained fire at the rate of a minigun, and I didn't care. I got two people saying stuff. I think a dictionary with all the different projectiles is pretty interesting. I was doing that, but it was mostly to make sure that the projectiles didn't hit themselves, hit each other, or get detected in a scan. Now, what am I saying? Projectile to load is on the weapon. And if I change that, it's going to be changed for every weapon in the world, which is a problem. So if you have like an M4 sitting on the ground over here, and you attach like new ammo to the one that you're holding, it'll change for the one on the ground. We don't want that. Now, this isn't going to be an immersive sim. I'm not really going to... Maybe it doesn't need to be that way. I don't know, actually. We can break the rules on how that works. Most people would expect you have to pick up ammo. Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to think about exactly how that'll behave. But it's at the very least, we are going to need to be cognizant of the fact that we can't change it. So we can't go, where's the player character? Weapon model. Weapon. Here's the weapon here. And this is the projectile right here. It's a scene that lives on this resource and is loaded every time you shoot the gun. Now, if we change that, we change it for everything. So we need to actually probably set up some kind of switch in the weapon manager to detect. I used a physics server to run batch collision queries, hundreds of moving raycasts like it's nothing. That's really interesting. That's, I'm guessing you were doing bullet hell? I've never had to go to that level. That is the wrong way to do it. We go here, we go Control Shift 11. So, we've got a problem. where we shoot. Bring this back. Shoot. We load a projectile and we just look in weapon slot projectile to load instantiate. Perhaps. This needs to be stored somewhere else. Perhaps the ammo needs to be taken from some kind of other inventory. Actually, what am I saying? The ammo is taken from a different kind of inventory. The projectile to load is just a data point. So, the weapon slot needs to hold the projectile to load, but we don't really want to have to specify it for every projectile. So I think we'll keep the one that's on the weapon resource as like a default. This is the default projectile to use. And if the player equips something else, we're going to put it in the weapon slot. And so we'll always draw from the weapon slot. What we'll do is that when we pick up a weapon, we'll take the default and we'll put it in the weapon slot. And then we'll draw from there from that point on. And then that way we can change it. And if you drop that weapon, it will be specific to that weapon that you dropped. Otherwise, we do that. I think that's the way to go. An FPS for mobile had to keep CPU loads very low. Physics and rendering server give you insane optimizations. Yeah, I need to learn it. I really need to learn like how to use the physics server. Maybe I'll set that aside as something we can do later on when we're a little bit further through on this project. Okay, so I am going to make a change to the weapon slot. Lulu Gaming, hello, welcome to the stream. How are you doing? Any tips on making a turn-based RPG? That's a good question. I think there's a guy. I don't have any tips myself, other than I love turn-based RPGs, or I did when I was a kid. I thought it was the best. I still do. Like, I was playing Chrono Trigger last year, and that game, like, holds up, like, strongly holds up. It's so good. Heartbeast, I think he might not have a tutorial series, but he's definitely got a game development, a devlog. That's the word. I forgot the word for devlog. I'm good. He's got a devlog. I don't know how long ago. This was a while back. My favorite back then was Final Fantasy. One of my favorite games for the longest time was Final Fantasy VIII. Loved Final Fantasy VIII. I really liked Final Fantasy VII as well. But I played that after I played Final Fantasy VIII was my first Final Fantasy, and then I played Final Fantasy VII. It's good, but it's just not. It doesn't have that same charm to me. Like Limbus Company and Epic 7. I haven't played those two games. What did I play recently? It was modern. It was on the iPhone. I forget what it was called. Fantasia, Fantasy Story, something like that. I can't remember what it was called. It was an Apple Arcade exclusive that I played for a little bit in trial. It was great. It was a good game. Ni no Kuni was another one that I played a couple of years ago that I really loved. Anyway, we're getting distracted. The player is still visible. Heartbeats, channel update, sneak peek, yada yada yada. Pixel platform. Man, he makes so many videos. He's made. So this is what, Fog of War? Does he have a playlist for this? He made basically like a Pokemon game. Demon Look. Demon Look devlog?
Good morning,
Oof, audio quality. So he has like an entire devlog series on making turn-based RPG. So if you're interested in just like ideas about how things could work, it's not actually a tutorial series. It's just a devlog, but he goes through the process and it's really interesting. He's really talented. If you haven't watched Heartbeast, then I suggest you do, because if you're looking to learn how to make a game, he's the guy that can get you started. He's got, what has he got? Pixel platformer, platformer. Everyone makes platformer tutorials. I'm going to make a platformer tutorial at some point. Resource-based inventory, random level generation. Those are really good. Mobile RPG. Maybe check it out. I don't know if it's turn-based. It's old, I imagine.
Good morning.
4 years ago, it's going to be Godot 3. So take it with a grain of salt. But yeah. I'm sure there's other people out there as well, but he's probably my favorite when it comes to Godot education. IT student? Well, is IT coding really? I don't actually know. I thought IT was like networking and stuff. But yeah, I mean, don't feel bad. It took me 5 years to learn how to code. I know how to modify them, but not to type them from scratch. Yeah, it can be hard getting started. It took me ages, man. Don't worry about it. Just keep going one day at a time, and eventually you'll get there. Okay, so weapon slot. We've got current ammo, reserve ammo. So we've already got the ammo in the weapon slot. At some point, we'll have to turn this into like some kind of inventory, I guess. It depends on the game. So we've got upgrades, right? And we can also have the export var. It doesn't even have to be an export. It's a resource, so I probably need to make it an export. It doesn't need to be populated. Export var projectile, right? And this can be a pack scene, right? And we don't need to do anything with it here. But what we can do is in the weapon state machine, right? So when we initialize the weapon, we initialize the upgrades and we add spray profiles. We also will now, so we pass in the weapon slot. So we can go weapon slot dot projectile equals weapon slot. Let's copy that. Dot weapon dot projectile to load. And we can just set that right on pickup. If we also need to check if one isn't already there, so we can go if weapon slot dot projectile. If not, I should say, if not weapon slot dot projectile, then load up the one from the default. If it's there, we won't worry about it. It means that there's something already there. And so now, I probably need to make this a function because I'm going to need to, actually, no, I'm not. What am I going to say? I wonder if I dodge to reload ammo, if dodge to reload ammo would be cool. Oh, maybe. Keeps the pace going. A lot of people just don't do reloads. Like if you look at, what's that game? I keep forgetting its name. Ultra Kill. If you look at Ultra Kill, they don't do reloads. It's just like, you just keep shooting and there's like a time base. Like if you stop shooting, it'll reload itself. And I'm sure, I don't know if you parry or something like that, dodge, that's cool. Whatever you can do, I think that's a good idea actually. If you're making a game like that, yeah. In the shoot function. So I gotta go to the shoot function now. And in the shoot function, rather than in the load projectile, rather than going current weapon slot dot weapon dot projectile to load dot instantiate, I can just go current weapon slot dot projectile to load. Well, not even dot projectile to load, dot projectile, right? And everything should go as normal, I think. It looks like it's working to me. Everything's behaving normally, right? Easy. So Make the reload take 40 minutes. Yeah, the reload, right. To reload, guys, he's going to have to like pull the magazine out, and he's going to have to go to like his box of bullets, and we'll have a mini game where you need to like press the left click to put one in, and then press the right click to put the other one in. And then he'll have to like, his hand will go down and grab the next slot, and then you'll press left click, right click, and then it'll just be like this little animation where he just feeds in the bullets one by one, and then you'll reload it and you can put the magazine in. That's how we're gonna do reloading in my game. Actually, I'm just assuming that's how you like load up a magazine. I don't actually know. You slide the bullets in one by one. Making a lot of assumptions here. Like I said, I've never shot a gun. I've never used guns. I don't know what I'm talking about. I just play a lot of FPS. Well, I did. The whole game is surviving the reload animation. But before we actually fire the gun, we're going to make you clean the gun first. I'm sure there's a game out there that does that. Like, I'm memeing here, but like, I bet you there is like a gun emulator. I don't know what you would call it. Like just a gun simulator. Get rid of this. What is this doing on the screen? Okay, so everything's working as normal. Now we can actually just come to the player character. We've got ammo upgrade 1, right? It's got a projectile to load. I'm pretty sure it's just the same one, but it's like increased hit scan 5. So the issue is, I guess, we're like assuming that the hit scan, the projectile does the damage. The damage actually doesn't come from the projectile. The projectile, it takes damage. Have I changed it? Because I was originally going to make the projectile take calculate the damage, and I don't know about that now. So damage is 10, right? So I think I have changed it so the projectile does do the damage. I think that's fine. So we can have them do different damage. That's totally fine. Yeah, I'm happy to roll with that. All right. So we can come to the... So basically what I want to do is we've got ammo upgrade 1. Let's duplicate this. Just call it 2. Basically, to show this off, we can have projectile to load actually go and become a rigid body. Because I have one of those somewhere here. Basic rigid body projectile. Right. And in the UI that we've got for testing, we'll just add that in. Add element. Ammo upgrade 2. All right, let's see if this works. It won't actually. I've done all this and I still haven't implemented any of that. So when I go to grip upgrade, muzzle, ammo upgrade, right? So right now we've just got the projectile to load. We actually need to implement a couple of functions. Mostly the upgrade weapon function, I think, is enough. So if we go to the ammo upgrade, and you can make this a little bit bigger so you guys can actually see what I'm doing. Obviously, we're doing different things. We don't want to do that. What we want to do is actually, we've got the slot already, so we can just go slot.projectile equals projectile to load. Right? It's literally all we need to do. We really don't need to do anything more. The flow of the code should work out totally fine. This function gets called anytime you want to equip an upgrade. So we can play the game now, and okay, so right now we're doing a hit scan projectile, so that basically means we're doing a raycast to and from and just determining if there's anything in the way and doing damage to it. Now, I do have rigid bodies. It's got the same name, but we'll change it. And now, I shoot a rigid body. It's not coming from the right spot on the weapon, but it works, which is pretty cool. And interestingly, like the spray pattern on this is like kind of wild. So my question is, like, we put the hand grip on, right? It does affect it. But what if I need more ammo? I don't want to switch to that. Go back. What if we switch to the hit scan? Oh, it's going to crash. That one's not implemented. Remove upgrade. Oh, interesting. Right. Interesting. Okay, so we've forgotten a step. Removing the upgrade for the... So we're just assuming with this, that's a visual. This is the first one that doesn't have a real visual change in the weapon. So it doesn't, we don't really need to call remove upgrade. We do, I mean, yes, we do in a way, because we need to like upgrade.equip upgrade. That's what we're calling. And it's always going to return something. Now I solved this for the unequip. I thought already. Remove upgrade, initialize upgrade, add upgrade. Yeah, oh yeah, see, I'm doing a check for pack scene instead, because that's ultimately what we can use to check if there's a pack scene that needs to be removed. That's interesting. You could have different shooting solutions for the gun types, make guns that shoot chickens. Yeah, literally, we could do a lot of different things with it. Basically, what I want to do is like have, you know, different kinds of weapons, because I said this a million times, I'm not going for like a military simulation. It's going to be more like probably Borderlands or something like that. Obviously, it's not going to be as deep as Borderlands, but yeah, it's something like... I probably need to replay that game. It's been a while. But yeah, if so I can do like, I want to do like damage over time effects. I want to do like knockback effects, other kinds of more interesting upgrades for the ammo. That's probably going to be more the focus. Like grip, yeah, fine. Grip's cool. Sight's cool. Ammo is going to be the real thing. Most likely the most interesting upgrade that you can put on the weapon. Okay, so that will solve that problem. But disconnect upgrade, remove upgrade. Now I want to see you make the chicken gun from Crysis. I could do it. It wouldn't be that hard. It's literally just like change out the... Alright. Alright, guys. We need a chicken model. It's got an itch. Here's one here. Goose is going to be real mad because I promised him, oh, okay, well, let's do the goose then. That kind of looks like, it's a duck. It's not a goose. I did say to the goose that there was going to be a goose gun in the game. Farm animals 1.1.blend. Let's go with that. Alrighty. What is the... I don't think I ever unlocked that. I played Crysis, but I don't think I've seen the chicken gun from Crysis. Let's have a look at that first. Just because I'm just assuming it shoots chickens. If it's a Canadian goose, I guess I can make up for our lack of gun education. Yeah, that makes sense. Crysis, chimkin gun. It was a funny anti-piracy thing in Crysis where all your bullets became chickens. You know, it's funny because I originally pirated that game back in 2007 or 2009 or whenever it came out, and I did not see that, so I guess it didn't work. Oh yeah, look at that. Oh, it's not even like firing the chickens. It's just like they're spawning. Oh no, they're like shooting. Dude, that's pretty funny. We can do that. Yeah, because like the system is actually pretty flexible because the rigid body can be anything. I delete everything. I open documents, Godot, farm animals. Why is this so small? Okay. Oh, I mean, this one's way more interesting to look at. So I think we'll take that. Right? We just export this as a GTL. I'm a visual artist. If you ever need weird or far out, sorry, I can't read. I can't speak. If you ever need weird or far out ideas, yeah, well, I'm gonna need help eventually. It's gonna be a long time before this is ready for art, but I'm not an artist, so I will need to work with somebody at some point. So I'm always open. It'll be down the line. It's really going to be, what I want to do is I'll make the prototype first, and I'll test it, see if people respond well, if people think it's fun, and if they do, then we'll go to the next stage and we'll start like making it look like a game and expanding on the ideas that we've made. Okay, so we've got, what is this under? FPS controller test. What is the project? Godot FPS controller, I think. Spawnable objects. And then we just want to include this selected object. I still don't even know what the setting of this game is going to be. I think it's going to be like zombie or horror, eldritch maybe. Don't know. Okay, so now where's chicken? Chicken is here. So what we can do here, we've got the spray profiles and the projectiles to load. We've got the basic rigid body projectile, right? And it has a scene called a bullet, and we can just open that scene. And the scene is actually just a rigid body with a detection, and it's just got the layer set up. So I'm just gonna, like, that's literally all this has. It's got a mass, gravity scale is 0, like the bullets have no drop. And then it's just the collision setup that I need for this project to work. So I'm going to go scene, save scene as, and it's going to be the chimkin bullet. Right. And then we just delete this and we replace it with the chicken. Has no textures. How could it? No textures. Is it textured by the It looks so cute though. Oh. What? What? We'll download the pre-exported one. Extract. It's a 3D object? What's that? It's using vertex colors? I don't like it. So how can I get that to come over to Godot? Because I've never worked out that animation, game logic. What is this layout? Is this like a Godot 2 point whatever? Shading. Give me that one. Turn them OE. I don't actually understand what you mean by that. Turn them on, you mean? Emission. In the material, you can turn them on, assuming they are imported. I didn't see it, to be honest. Let's have a look at this. Material? Material. It's just clear. Use external? No. It's not, it didn't come through, so it could just be an export issue. They've got an exported version. I don't know if this is going to be supported in Godot. We can try. FPS controller. Not FPS controller. Godot 4 FPS template. Player controller. Spawnable objects. Chicken. Yeah, I don't think that particular exported object. I don't even know what kind of object this is. It just says 3D object. Is it FBX? It's FBX. Oh, fuck that. All right. Let's go back to Blender. I mean, the options are to bake it. If I export, I could probably do wavefront, OBJ, selection only, geometry colors, and object groups, material groups. I don't know. Let's go with that. Let's try that. Player controller, spawnable objects, Chimkin. This was supposed to be easy. Yeah, GLTF is my favorite object to use, but sometimes the Chimkin needs to be in OBJ. It's just not picking it up. Okay. Let's try GLTF again, but with the different settings. We're gonna need to bake it, and I don't want to do that. So if it's something we have to bake, then include Y up, data, mesh, vertex colors, expert, even if not used, export active vertex colors when no material is there. Active, maybe? Note that fully, can't read that. Fully compliant GLTF engine viewer will use it as a multiplicative factor for base color. If you want to use VC for other purposes than vertex color, you should use custom attributes. Oh, let's try that. I'll probably have to Google it. Chicken, why? Why? Is it vertex colored? Yes, it is. I don't want to bake how to export vertex colors in Blender. So in Blender, it's this attribute thing, eh? I don't actually know what this is. Color, type, geometry, name, color. What is this? I've actually never seen this node before. Some kind of shader. Blender Blues, yeah. I might just need to get a different chicken. Because I don't understand what I'm looking at. Surface is an emission. What if it wasn't? like get that out of here. Surface, attribute, color, type, geometry. Add a principled shader first. Ah, okay. Search. Principled BSDF. Put it in between. And now he looks significantly worse, but we'll roll with it. You reckon that'll work? Go back to Godot. Hey, look at him. He's there. We got the chimkin. Oh, right. So what if I like, rather than deleting the emission, and then I added the principled BSDF in the base color and connected. Oh wait, it needs to be in this one here, and then this goes to this. No? I don't know how this works. There is an emission field here, right? So we can go, oh wait, okay, we can just go color, and this was 2.4. And I don't know, it feels a lot stronger than it was. It's a very glowing chicken. Export. It's like way too bright. I don't think we're going to go with that. The chicken is going to be the bullet. It's taken a little bit longer than I thought it would because of Blender. Thanks, Blender. Okay, we got our chicken, our lovely chicken. So now we can just drop this in the scene. We can delete our old chicken because old chicken. And we'll make local. Bring this up here, delete this node here. We're speed doing it. We're going to reset the position, and I guess we'll scale him down a little bit, and we'll make the collision shape probably something that's a little bit more accommodating for the chick. Go up and then out. That pretty much encapsulates the whole thing. Okay. We've got a chimkin bullet. I will save this scene, this save scene as. We've got a basic rigid body projectile, and then we're going to have a chicken rigid body projectile. And this one here, instead of the bullet, will fire a chicken bullet. Chimkin bullet. Do that. Give it gravity so we can have a pile of chickens. Yeah, no problems. Good idea. They're not gonna, if we don't want them to trigger and delete themselves, we will need to remove them from the world layer. Or turn off continuous CD and contact monitor. So that way we'll get a pile of chickens because it won't actually detect. I think then after 10 seconds they disappear. So we've got a chicken. And if we want it to be, yeah, that's probably good enough. So what we can do now is we can go to our upgrades, right? And weapon models, upgrade meshes. We want scripts, upgrades, upgrade resources, ammo upgrade 2, which was broken before. We change its name to be Chimkin. We'll just leave this in the game as an Easter egg, eh? And then we just swap that out with the chicken. Like that. And then we run the game. Chimkin. And now What is going on? Poultry pistol. Yeah, they go fast, eh? Did I forget to take gravity off? Projectile, open scene. I forgot to put gravity back on, so I put gravity on. I turned the mass up, but I forgot to make them heavy chickens. What else can we do to make these a little bit funnier? I guess if we go to the chicken rudge, we can turn down the projectile a little bit. We can make it like 10. Turn on gravity and give them some drag. So we'll make the projectile velocity a little bit slower. Their mass is turned up. Mass distribution. What are we talking about? Constant forces. Dampening mode. Yeah, good enough. Perhaps the pig rounds can fly. Yeah. And then we just choose chinkin. Roll. Yeah, I mean, it's a good weapon. The natural air resistance. Yeah. Dampening mode. Replace. I actually don't know how dampening works. Damps the body movement by default. The body will use default damp linear. You can set the linear damp to be added or replaced or combined. Okay, we'll just set it to 1.6. And we'll probably need to up the velocity, yeah? Lol, they have physics? Yeah, we have physics. So we come to this and we go, chimkin bullets. This is just too fun. I think the other thing that would be like really good if you were going to have this as an Easter egg is have the chickens rotate as they, like a random rotation on the chickens. So we can do that probably without changing too much. We add a script to this bullet and we'll just create it. And what we'll do on the ready function is we'll just create like a random rotation. Right? So we can just go like, if you want them to stop spinning, up there, well, I actually want them to spin more. Rotation, rotate object, rotation. I don't want to rotate it. I just want to set the rotation. Equals a vector 3, right? And we'll just make it like rand I. Randef range, we'll just make it somewhere between 0 and 1 for each of the vectors. Is that the wrong function? It should be randef range. Right? What's the... apparently that's good enough. We'll roll with it. Do chickens have AI or they just... No, they don't do nothing. They're dumb. And so now they'll come out of different rotation. That looks really good. The other thing we need to fix before we like turn this into something fun is we need to go to the player and just change the position of the bullet to come out at. We can go to the... what I'm not doing, if I go to camera... weapon models, M4A, animation player, right? And we go to the blaster, it's blaster I, right? Activate. The bullet point is actually here, and it really needs to be out at the end of this gun because we changed it. Right? So that looks pretty good. And so now it'll look a little bit more sensible. I just need to key that position in. Create. Bullet point position. All right. Run it. Okay, great. we now have a fully functional chicken gun. I'm sorry, I have to apologize to Goosefat, who has requested a goose gun, but that's different. That's a gun that is a goose that shoots eggs. This is an M4 that shoots chickens. It's different. It's a different thing. And frankly, this is a little bit easier to do. And look at them little disco chickens. And then just disappear. That's good. Goose fat, I'm sorry. I'll see you in chat. It's always fun to make funny things like that. All right, we'll just... Easter egg number 2. The goose gun's harder to do. The man with the golden goose gun. Replace the M4 model with a goose that shoots chickens. I will do that eventually, because I think that's like fun. It's fun, like you guys make funny suggestions like that. We can just bury that in the game somewhere. I don't know where, but we will. All right. Make them bouncy. Yeah, that actually would be pretty funny. Chicken. Is it Chimkin? Chimkin bullet. Now you have to go physics material override and then bounce. Golden eggs with the Midas touch. They're not bouncing much. I think we need to up that number. 100% bouncy. It's probably because the mass is really high. They have a bit of weight to them. What a joke. That is actually the best thing. Great. Great, I love it. All right, so that is, now we can change ammo and it's just going to be a new projectile. I think that's probably the best way. I wonder if you could just make an entire game around that. Just like have your game be like, you have to shoot farm animals. Like it's like, what's it called? It's like Angry Birds, but it's farm animals in 3D for some reason. And you just have to like shoot the farm animals to wherever they need to be. And for some reason, that's what you need to do. Like you have to transport the sheep and it's like, pew. Be a fun mobile game. A secret room with the username and gun under it. Yeah, it'll be like something like that. I don't know what, like if you access it somehow. I like the idea it's just a random NPC goose somewhere in a AAA game that you can right click and now have a chicken gun. Yeah, that'll work. I mean, it would be, there's a game. I don't know which one. I don't know why this is reminding me of it. There's like a penguin heist game. Just reminded me of that. The greatest penguin heist of all time. Is that what it's called? 9 out of 10, 2021. I remember seeing this on, oh no, it's not going to work full screen. I remember seeing this on Instagram and thinking it was like the best thing ever. Like, I should put this on my wish list. Am I signed in? I'm not. But I can do it over on the other screen. Disgruntled farmer sim? Yeah. This is early access. $21 is pretty expensive, but I think this is such a cool idea. Like just a spin on like an FPS game. This is a third person shooter, I guess, but like just like the chaos and also you're a penguin for some reason. I like penguins a lot, so that probably appeals to me, but like, yeah, I don't know. This is just like the best. A sandbox physics game for 1 to 8 players. That's cool. Maybe we can do it on stream one day. Alright. Okay, so we can do ammo. That's cool. So we got ammo. What are the other 2 upgrades that I've got in my list of things to upgrade? So I've got muzzle and stock. What would stock do? Maybe I'll just leave that unimplemented. Muzzle's easy because it's a silencer. And the Linux community comes together for a heist. Yeah, pretty much. So we can do the muzzle. Go back to Blender. Go new. Sorry, Chimkin. We can just import, believe it is an FBX under Godot, under FPS controller, player controller, weapon models, M4A FPM. Whoa. Okay. Is it not an FBX? Is it GLTF? Sometimes you just can't find where you were. FPS controller, player controller, weapon models, M4A1, but that's kind of old. Like if you look at the date, it doesn't line up. Can I see all files? I'm pretty sure it's in there. Why did it come through like that? I mean, that's definitely it. 17th of July. Here's the type. I don't know why it's like that. Just delete that particular object. Oh, they're all really big. It's super annoying. It's not what I was looking at last stream. What happened? Godot. FPS controller. Example world. No. Player controller. Weapon models. M4A, it's an OBJ? It's an OBJ. So I must have got both. Huh. Much better. Okay. So yeah, we can do like a bunch of different muzzles as an upgrade. Pretty easy. There's all sorts of things we can do. This is a pack. Like I said, I'm not trying to do a mil sim. I'm just looking for examples to implement it as I go. But I think having a barrel attachment makes a lot of sense, especially if I want to like increase the damage. Like a damage augmentation. Like obviously I got ammo. I wonder like, did that get automatically censored? I mean, you could do it. It's not that hard. There's plenty of models of those things on the internet. No problems. So, I mean, you just got to download one. I'm not going to do it because I'm streaming to YouTube. I could probably get away with it on Twitch. It wouldn't be that hard. It'd actually be pretty fucking funny, to be honest. Let's be real. That would be funny. You sensed it or you send it. Don't send me nothing. Don't send me. I don't want nothing from you in that department. Just tape a picture to your monitor. Classic. No, send. I send it. I don't know what you mean, Goose. You're kind of freaking me out. But yeah. Let's do this one. So, all we have to do for this realistically is we need to set its origin point because it's over here, which is super dumb. You did send it. Goose, what did you put in the Discord? What did you put in the Discord? Goosey. I don't know what you like. You gotta work on your typing, mate. Sometimes I can't understand you, but I don't see nothing in Discord. Don't put anything in the Discord that might represent that, if you know what I'm saying. Oh, okay. All you did was put in the goose gun. Okay, yeah, the goose gun will come, but nothing else will, if you know what I'm saying. Okay, let's set the origin of this. I just want to pull it away. What direction does it need to go? G, Y, G, X, Z. It's Y. Okay, thank you. Okay, now the origin point is going to be this circle here. If it's some pretty bad geometry, let's be real. So I'm just going to select a couple of points and go Shift S. Whoa. Shift S and go cursor to selected, which should put it pretty much right there, which is good. And now we can go back into object mode and go to set origin to 3D cursor. I am dyslexic and the autism. I speech to text half the time. Okay, yeah, fair enough. Sorry about that. Speech to text can be a bit of a shoddy. Sometimes it works great and sometimes it doesn't. I remember being in the car with speech to text and having to speak like super slow and very clearly in order for it to like properly pick up on me. But that was before, like, nowadays they're a little bit better with the Australian accent. Back in like 2010, like you had to like speak very intently because it couldn't understand Australian accents. But like now they're pretty good at that. It's fine. Okay, cool. Origin to 3D cursor. Perhaps not. I've never been tested, but some might say that I exhibit tendencies. But I would never call myself that. Because at the end of the day, like, here's the thing. Like, this was me and my brother. Like, we were in Tasmania for a family event and we were visiting family. Like we don't know our family that well. Like we moved away out of Tassie, which is pretty far away from where I live now, when we were kids, and we never really kept in contact with our extended family. And we went back in 2021 and we're at a family gathering and he turns to me and he says, oh, like, this is where we get it from. Cause they were all like us. Like, so I don't think it's that. It's just like a personality trait or something like that. I was diagnosed in rehab. Saved my life. Okay, cool. But now I'm also autistic. So it's like, what the fuck? Yeah. It was like, we met all our family members and we're like, oh, we're all like this. Object, set origin to 3D cursor. What object is this? I suppose it doesn't matter. I just need to set it to 000. And now we can export it. Export as GLTF. Entirely new. What's that like though? Because I always say to people, like, I don't really see the point because it's not going to change like how I live my life, right? It's like I'm going to be the exact same person I was when I woke up and when I go to sleep it doesn't matter if a doctor says, yeah, you're like a little bit on the spectrum. Like, what's the point? Like, what changes realistically? Godot for FPS template. Because I've always been curious about that. To be entirely honest, I actually don't think that I am. But a lot of people will make fun of me and say that I am, if that makes sense. FPS template, play controller, vulnerable objects. I think it's under weapon, no? Weapon models, upgrade meshes. And I want to go to, it changed my life entirely. It changed me entirely. Once before, I felt rather entitled with my perspectives on reality. Once I learned I see through a lens that others don't, I felt like the world was whack. Turns out it was me the entire time. Okay, I understand that. Yeah, I'm definitely like very aware that like people don't see the world the same way. Like, yeah, I guess, yes. There was a time, okay, yeah, I can totally understand how that would have a big impact. That's cool though. Yeah. I forget what I'm trying to call this. This is a silencer. So the interesting thing about what we're trying to implement now is I'm going to do a silencer and it's not going to do anything, right? Because there's no sound in the game. There's not even a variable that's going to like make the gameplay different. Obviously, we'll need to implement that. And I don't know, like, this isn't going to be a stealth game. This is just an example. I actually think the muzzle is going to do the damage variable, like an enhancement. But we'll go with that. Yeah, what was I gonna... I was talking with my wife literally right before the stream. We were talking about the Olympics, you know, that whole like that whole debacle with the... What is it? Like they did the Last Supper. And I was like, oh, I think that's so cool. Like I thought it was... I was like, that's epic that they did that. I don't even care about any of that stuff. I just think it's so fucking funny that this is like Ozempic games. This was just like that. To me, this is like peak because just like they eat the dude. It's so abstract. I haven't watched it. I really need to. It just like whatever this is, I'm into it. Like I don't even care. Like people are like, oh, it's so offensive. It's so whatever. I'm like, this is sick. And then, yeah, people definitely don't see it that way. I don't know what it is. The school speech to text exam, what's Ned Kelly's family like when he was growing up? How did his family situation affect him? Ned's family were troublemakers who committed crimes and were poor. This affected Ned because he and his dog not doing the right thing either. School text to speech to text exam. The blue skin guy is a Hindu god. That's even more cool. I don't know what it is, but like the whole concept of just like taking something so like culturally iconic and just like flipping it on its head like appeals to me a lot. But like people just did not like that. And like I'm not even like on the like LGBTQ kind of like I'm just cis, right? So like there's no reason for me to be on that train as like aside from being an ally obviously, but like I don't know, it just is, it's like it's cool. But no, people definitely don't feel that way. On the table of the First Supper. It's funny. Okay, we don't need that anymore. Dog is not the right thing. He and his dog are not doing the right thing either. Ned Kelly? Yeah, well, I mean, he was a criminal at the end of the day. I'm 41 and I personally admit that I think things are insane lately. Yeah, I mean, they're different, but I kind of like it because it makes everything more interesting. It's like a little bit of spice on the world. It's like everything used to be so like proper. You know, people used to be so uptight and they had to say the right thing at the right time and all that kind of stuff. And I hate all of that bullshit. Like I work in a professional job and I could not stand it. I hate it when people try to talk all like corporate. I'm like, nah, fuck off with that. I'm like, can we just be normal? And the fact that politicians are now, I mean, they're a little bit unhinged, but at least they're speaking like normal people, not trying to be like royalty. What am I doing? I'm just like highlighting stuff while I talk. Like I really don't like a lot of the right politics on the right side of politics, like right-wing politics. I don't like it, but at the very least, they're honest about what they're trying to do. Give them that. Year 10, I do metalwork. I never did metalwork. Never did wood or metalwork because I cannot, you know, they say measure once, measure twice, measure once, cut twice. That's me. Not measure twice, cut once. Yeah, I can't do it. Year 9 now. Well, you're young, man. I've been like totally derailed by all of this. Okay, we got the muzzle upgrade. What does the muzzle upgrade do? So it's very similar to the sight. It's gonna have a couple of different things. I broke it. So the sight has a pretty similar set of variables, but the main thing is it's gonna, number one, it connects a couple of signals. We don't need to worry about that. We really just need to have a visual. Okay, so that's fine. I'm pretty sure I made those global. So a sight upgrade. Upgrade resource, create new. Actually, if I'm going to put anything on the muzzle, it's going to be, I don't know why I've just decided that these improve damage. So export file. Damage increase. And I don't know if the grip improves stability, then what does the stock do? That's the only other thing I have as a question. If I'm going to have like these 5 different improvements, maybe we can have it increase the speed, the fire rate. That could be interesting, right? This is a float. Right. So that's basically it. It really doesn't need that much. Silence. So I need to do, it's a muzzle upgrade. And it's a silencer. Silencer. Bonk crypto price. Oh, that's really low. What was it ever high? Who did bonk? Which person scammed everybody? Don't buy crypto, kids. Bonk crypto. Who is buying bonk? Who made bonk? Bonk coin. Trash coins. Alright. Bonk. More than ordinary. This is so dumb. Who would buy this shit? About. Community coin of Web3. I'm so glad that no one talks about this shit anymore because it drove me crazy. Bonk's utility comes from Bonk's utility. What? In the form of a strong community and thriving ecosystem of integrations. I've never even. This is so dumb. To date, Bonk boasts over 120 integrations across 9 separate chains. Its adoption continues to grow rapidly. 4,400. It's a shit coin. Bonk's growth to date has been admirable. It's promised to be the beginning of Bonk community. Who made this coin? I thought Web3 died last year. I'm glad it did, to be honest. I mean, everyone just started talking about AI, but like, yeah, at least we're not talking about crypto and NFTs and bullshit like that. I actually made some NFTs when it was first starting. That was like one of the first things I did. I was making YouTube videos, but like, I also made some crypto at the same, made some NFTs at the same time just for fun. I don't think they ever sold or anything like that. It's just like to test it out. I guess I go to CoinDesk. Silly goose. I'm hearing investors are growing impatient on the AI grapevine. Yeah, it's going to crash as well, just like everything else. Just like .com. 1 minute. What the heck? All. So let's see. I don't understand this chart. Like, it's 0 and then it went up. Okay, and then it went up and then back down, and like, I don't know, like someone made it in July. It's really not that old. It's about a year old. I don't know, man. It's such a waste of time. Like, I mean, there's a couple of crypto that's okay if you want to like long-term invest, but for everything else, I think it's just a fad. Like, I mean, obviously Bitcoin's really expensive. There's Ethereum, there's Cardano, a couple of them that are like actual serious investment products, but the rest are like just a waste of time, in my opinion. But I'm not an investor. This is not investment advice. Export VAR damage. Okay, so now we've got this silencer. We can say that it increases damage by like 5. And it's got an upgrade type of... I need to add some more. Did I not add all of them? I did not. Interesting. Huh. Huh. Interesting. What am I doing with this? It's always that, isn't it? What am I doing? Initialize upgrade. Add upgrade. I don't think am I using the upgrade type anymore? I was planning to do like a match and then I just decided to go away from that. Is it not necessary? Here we go. Option to upgrade. Get indexed. I am using that as a way to get access to it when I want to change it. Okay. Current weapon slot. Okay, I am using that. So it's important. But I haven't updated it to include the other 2 types. So I need to do that. And that actually happens in the weapon slot. Okay, I'm hearing investors going, my using CoinMarketCap. Silly Goose has a YouTube. Is it like actually a person? I don't know. I like creators and creators and like coins and crypto is like insane to me because it's like the equivalent. It's like it's essentially it's fraud, right? Number one. And it's also like, it's illegal for other people. Like, you could not create a business, say like I made a company called Shaft Games, right? The same as my channel. And then I decided to go public with it and sell shares. And it would be like wrong of me. It would be illegal for me to tell my viewers to buy shares in my stock of Shaft Games, turn around, sell my position, like sell my stake in the company, and then like just abandon the company altogether, shut it down, whatever. Like that's straight up illegal. I would go to jail. But for some reason, if you just say that it's crypto, you can do that, which is insane to me because it's the same thing. Like, it's not that different from buying stocks, conceptually at least. Obviously, they're completely different financial products, but at the same time, you're still buying into something, which is like crazy. Crypto is fine by itself, but too many scammers ruined it. Yeah, like, I don't think there's anything wrong. Like, if you look at some of the other bigger projects like Ethereum and Cardano and obviously Bitcoin itself, like, they have goals that are outside of just like buy our product so that we can make money. Like, you know, they're trying to integrate crypto into like businesses and with contracts and all that kind of stuff. And so there's a lot of applications where they're trying to actually do something with the technology. Whereas like if you're buying, you know, whatever it was, Crypto Zoo or whatever, it's just straight up a scam. And they're like, buy my crypto, buy Mooncoin. It's going to go to the moon. Like, it's horrible. Yeah, crypto on its own is like fine. I don't think it's that revolutionary. Like, I remember being at university and they're explaining what it is. And it's like, oh, it's an immutable ledger. It's like, that's cool and all, but like, it is just a ledger at the end of the day. One of Silly Goose's YouTube videos on Discord. All right, let's have a look. What are you sending me? A virtual money? It's a token. What? Okay, hang on a second. I've been trolled before. Okay, safer stream. I don't understand why you sent this to me though. $10,000 views. Amazing. So cute. It's a pretty good animation. I thought this was a crypto, but it's not. Abracadabra, I'm back. Hey, welcome. Virtual money. I don't think crypto is not really that comparable to money. I guess people do compare it to gold, but like realistically at the end of the day, like, I don't know if I can make that. I guess the biggest difference between it and money is that it's backed. Money is backed by governments and like countries and stuff like that, but crypto isn't, you know, like that at all. And it's I guess you use cryptology to generate these tokens, whatever they are. Did I ever tell you guys that I made like an entire video essay on NFTs and it did really badly? Is the game available to the public? The game's not even, man, we're talking like at least 12 months, bro. Weapon slot. Okay, upgrades, muzzle upgrade. Upgrades. So I basically the reason I'm pasting this is because I need it to be like exactly the same. what makes crypto cool and interesting also makes it interesting, but talking about it openly will get too politically. I don't think it's necessarily political. I actually, when it originally came out, I thought it had like really good applications for finance, where you could use it because it is something that's very transparent, right? So in terms of like contracts, which I think people are trying to push, and even for accounting, like if I make a change to the financial system, like I guess you guys mostly know, like you guys hang out in my chat, like working in finance as an accountant, like I can make a change to the financial system in our company, and I can make it, I can just like, if I wanted to, I could open up and just go all the way back to like 2019 and delete everything. No problems. There's nothing stopping me from doing that. I have that power because I'm like in a position of the company where I'm like trusted with that power. But like if it was crypto, if it was like an immutable ledger, then I would never be able to do that. It would be impossible. That does bring some problems. So like we kind of need it to be mutable to a point, right? But you could also like, you could take your financial ledger for your company and you could store it in some kind of thing that was immutable. And then you could have like a version of it that was like, this is what it was. And so if anyone tried to do that, you could bring it back, no problems. I don't know. There's a lot of things that I think in finance could benefit from something like that. The fact that, see, I need to like actually do a course or like learn about it. AI is too stupid for jobs now. It sucks. Yeah, it's horrible. Yeah, AI is like totally off the table for like 10 years, 20 years maybe, unless there's some major breakthrough. But even if there is, like corporations are super slow to pick that up. And then there's also economical implications, like companies like the idea of moving to like cheaper labor, right? But like if no one has jobs, then no one can buy their stuff. So there'll be cognizant of that as well. Yeah, there's challenges for sure. Do you think like when it does, like let's say 50 years from now, like it's just all UBI, like universal income, because like the robots do everything? Like where does the money come from? Fuck knows. And like the robots do something, and then like if you have a job, maybe you make a little bit more money, but you could just not have a job and be UBI, and there'll be like just an entire class of people. 8083, hello. 8083 music. Are you making 808 music? I like the 808 machine. Okay, so now we've got those. Ammo upgrade. Oh, we got that twice. How silly of me. I thought it looked a little too long. Right. Save and quit. Wait, what? Cancel. Closing out of the entire software. I didn't mean to do that. Do you think you could buy a house in 2050 with 3 mil? Depends where you live. That's how much it costs to buy a house where I live right now. Like, you know? I can't show that on the screen. What is the average? I think it's median. Median house price. Okay, so the average in my area is $1 million. So it's up there already. Yeah, it's a bit fucked, eh? Do you think you could buy a house in 2050 with 3 mil? You definitely could. Because what's that? That's not even that far from now. That's only 25 years. And if you think about the way things have gone, then you'll be okay. But you can also just like live in a different area if that's possible with computing and like teleworking or whatever they call it, where you work from home. I know that there's been a push lately to come back into the office, but like, to be honest, I think with the cost of living, But why did someone create Bitcoin? I don't think they know why anyone created Bitcoin, and I haven't read the white paper. I probably should. It was for embezzling money, right? Like that was the original purpose of the white Bitcoin. It was to commit fraud. Right. If you could pick one person to become the president of the world, it would be me. And I would take over and run it how I see fit. All right? All right? I wouldn't actually do that. But, you know. Dude, your weapon tutorial series has been a lifesaver. The gun works perfectly, even at 5 FPS. I'm glad that it works. 5 FPS is a bit low, buddy. Well, now. Need some more FPSs. I think I need to do top to bottom for my stream. Because I'm always looking at the bottom of the screen. It looks like I'm looking down all the time. What other jobs did I have before I became a dev? I'm not even a dev right now. I'm an accountant. So yeah, but I mean, I worked at university. I worked in retail. And so like I went from retail and then I just went to being an accountant, which I still am. And now I just do this for fun after work. It's for testing. I've had some issues with FPS based mechanics as of late. Yeah. It was meant to be IRS proof money. Yeah. Like they were trying to avoid, they were doing fraud basically. I remember watching like a documentary back in the day, like in 2013 about it, but I've forgotten a lot. They were talking about it at uni. It's crazy. Like I knew about it like in 2009. And in my economics classes, they were talking about this new thing and they didn't think it was going to be anything. Like it has no backing. Like the biggest problem with Bitcoin and all the crypto is that it's not backed up by anything. And so like at any point in time, it could all just disappear. Which they thought would prevent people from buying into it. Because like generally speaking, people don't want to own something that's not worth anything. Or if they think it won't be worth anything, they don't want to own it. The difference is like Bitcoin has like the staying power. Like that was obviously back in 2009. But now because it is what it is, it's like it's not really going to go anywhere. There's enough in place to protect people from that, I think. I don't actually know. I already created the silencer, didn't I? See you later, EMS. Silencer. Upgrade mesh. It wants a pack scene. It's not under weapon resources. Weapon models, upgrade meshes. Make local. Make scene parent. Transform, set to 0. This is not the right thing. I wanted the silencer. And I didn't export the right way. All this distraction. Well, export. GLTF. Include selected object. It's better. Make local, make scene root. Delete the rest. Reset the transform. Don't reset the rotation. And put it on layer 20, because that's where our meshes live. upgrade resources. This really needs to be under weapon models, upgrade meshes, suppressor 002. That's fine. All right. And we also need to have on the player character a node for the muzzle. So this is just a node 3D. I need to come into here and just make a node. Call it muzzle. So if we do want to change the mesh of this, we can do so. I think technically this was a removable piece as well. So I'm just going to try to position this as close to the center as possible, but it's kind of hard. I guess if I went into orthographic. No, normal. Orthogonal. Now I can position it pretty well. Hey, yo, Alphin. Hey, how's it going? Did you get far on the 20 games challenge? I got to the second challenge. So I haven't done it again since that stream. I did one game and I thought, oh, maybe I can make it a series. And then I think I did a poll for the community. I said, do you guys want me to do this or do you want me to make an enemy? And they wanted me to make an enemy. I made an enemy and then someone asked me to do a game jam and I did that. And it's been a whole journey since then. And now we're making it game. It's pretty fun. But that's the beauty of streaming. We're just on this crazy journey doing all sorts of things. All right. That's the muzzle. And we can delete that. All right. And so now in the silencer upgrade mesh. So what we need to do, this is really tricky. I don't like this. We've got the suppressor as the upgrade mesh. And then in order to get the pathing right, I have to come into the weapon slot and I have to add the upgrade. Silencer. And then once I've added the upgrade, I can come in here and I can set the path. And I can set it to be muzzle. And then I can remove this. Well, I can just remove the upgrade from the muzzle and it'll be fine. But now the path will be correct. So the silencer has a damage factor and it doesn't do anything else. There's no sound in the game, so we can't add that functionality yet. And maybe we'll look at that later on. But as long as we get it up and running and doing stuff, I think we're good. So what I want to do is just sort of... That's wild. I'm going to need to add another label so that we can get the upgrade for the muzzle. And for this one, we just have the one. Drop that in so we can choose it. And now for the damage, I'm actually thinking how I want to do it is when we shoot, we do it past to check for the upgrade to see if there's like a damage from it. I can't wait to see how you attempt a realistic muzzle smoke. I think the answer is I won't. We'll see. That's a long way down the trail. I'm not going to worry about visuals for a really long time. I just want to work on like making features and seeing how they play. Okay, so we have got the silencer, right? We've got the damage. I mean, it really doesn't... If I'm just going to check for that, I don't really need to have any function. I suppose, because I do have like the connect and disconnect, like the connect upgrade signal, disconnect upgrade signal functions, right? So we could probably connect a signal to communicate the damage. So we can come to the thing and we've got these signals, right? And so like obviously we don't have any signals right now, not for this one, but we can create a signal. I guess I'll just call it on damage update or something like that. So it's going to update damage and it's a float and give this an underscore. And now we just need to connect that signal, right? So on damage update, we can connect that to this signal. So we could probably do the opposite. We probably need to create a function called get damage. And it's going to return a float, right? And it's just going to return damage, right? And so now we can go like on damage update dot connect, and the callable will be something. Actually, we don't even, it's like, oh man, this is not going to work the way I'm thinking. Hang on a second. Basically what I want to do is when I press the shoot button, I want to get the damage from this particular upgrade, but I don't want to have to like check for it. So in the player, in the weapon manager, so aim down sights, what do we do? I think that's in the input. ADS, if current weapon slot sight upgrade. I literally just do that. So maybe I just need to do the same thing. I just say if current weapon slot dot muzzle upgrade, check for damage. Get the number from that. If we're deciding that's the only thing that's going to influence damage, that's fine. So how are we doing damage at the moment? In the shoot, I believe we're not actually feeding damage through. It just goes straight to the projectile just does the damage. So we need to probably create a function in the, so annoying. We need to create a function in the projectile to add the damage, probably the same way that we do. I mean, it doesn't need to really influence the bullet, having the bullet signal what it hit to determine the damage. So what happens here at the moment is in the projectile, we've just got a flat damage. So what happens is we've got a damage variable, defaults to 10. And when you hit something, so we fire a projectile, we do a bunch of ray casting, yada, 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 hit scan collision, and then we hit scan damage, right? We do hit scan damage, and if it's projectile, we do projectile damage. But basically, we check if it's in the target group and it has the method hit successful, then we will call that function on the thing that we collided with, and it's just damage, direction, and position, and it like whatever it does. Like it's not really thinking too hard about what happens. So the object that it hit is really what determines how it processes that information, whether or not we give the enemies armor, whether or not we make them knock back. It really just decides on its own. But the damage ultimately comes from the projectile. So we probably need to add that damage to the variable Are you going to allow to go through objects? Yeah, I've got a function for that, which is called check for pass through. So if something is in the group pass through, it appends that object to an RID and it does another hit scan, I think. I actually can't do valid pass through, if pass through, and check pass through. And then what we do, it's kind of hard to see on this screen because it's a very long function. I basically, I halve the damage. That probably needs to be looked at some point because that's like really lazy. They're probably, what I should do is if it's in group pass through, I should like get how, like it should have its own reduction factor and I can get it from that and then pass it back to check pass through, right? But forget about that for a second. Basically, I have an array of information, pass through collision, and then pass through damage, which is half, and then I just pass that through into hit scan collision again, which is recursive. It's kind of dangerous, but it does work. I call the same function. Basically, it just does another projector. It does another raycast from the position that it hit, and it ignores the object that it hit. So it doesn't accidentally scan the same object that it's hitting from. Because obviously, like if you hit a box, right? Let's go 3D and to the world, right? Like if you hit one of these boxes, which I'm pretty sure are in the pass through. So if you hit it here and you wanted pass through, well, I'm going to start the hit scan from the last point I know, right? And then I'm just going to go, but I'm not going to actually include this object in the pass through hit scan. It's going to get ignored. And so basically it's just going to keep going in the direction wherever it hit, keeps going in that direction, ignoring the object it hit and go on. And so I use that for the rocket launcher primarily. When I made a rocket launcher, that's what I implemented that function for because I thought like it makes sense. Like if you hit an object, then it's going to do damage to the stuff around it. And it also checks for the world. So like if the object that it hit is not in that group, like the world wouldn't be, then it won't pass through that. I believe in CS, they send a straight hit scan line as the bullet. Then every object has its damage drop off value. And for every item it hit, it leaves a hitbox with the damage and damage drop off and then return the hitbox damage value to the player. Why does the player need to know though? Yeah, I guess I do something pretty similar, but like not quite the same because I'm not like doing a single hit scan. I'm doing like, I'll do a hit scan, I'll see what I hit, and then I'll do another one and I'll see what I hit. Because the issue is, I don't know actually. It's a good question. I could probably do it with one hit scan, right? Right? Because like it's mainly returned for debugging in the offline server. Okay. That makes sense. I guess the question I have then is it's kind of a bit off topic at the moment. Hit scan, collision, load decal. The problem here's the thing. I do a raycast from the camera and the first object I hit, I do the hit scan collision on. So I do a second one to make sure that it's coming from the bullet, which is different from like if you just did a straight line out for 2000 or whatever for the range, 1000 by default, which is really far. But intersect ray, what does that just return the first thing in the list? It does. Is a dictionary with the collider's object ID. I want the damage done to a player. Well, it's not a multiplayer game. It's just going to be like it's fine the way it is. It works. I think probably the pass through could be improved, but other than that, everything else is fine. And I'm guessing that the physics ray query can't do multiple objects. I have to check that. It stops raycasting after it hits something, or right? So it just finds the colliding object. Yeah, yeah, I do ignore stuff. So I basically go hit objects and I append that, right? Set exclude, hit objects. So and I never clear out hit objects. That's okay though, because I'm instantiating one every single time I do a raycast. Anyway, do I use groups for detection? I do. Yeah, I might look at changing that one day, but for now it works. I use groups and I also use layers as well. It should be an array so you can keep pushing objects to it as many times as needed. You mean the physics ray query parameter? I don't know. I have to do some more reading. I don't think it works that way by default, but I haven't looked at it in a long time. Yeah, so I do all that. But yeah, anyway, we're meant to be making a muzzle. And I'm having a bit of trouble. Well, not really, because the projectile does the damage, so it's fine. I just need to do a check, or I can reach out so we can connect the signal for shoot. I'm just trying to work out the structure. I guess I could just make it pretty basic for now. Like, we don't need to get too complicated. We can get the damage from it really easily. I'll just think about like what I want to do. So I can just go like, if current weapon, right, dot muzzle upgrade, then with extra damage. And I actually need to do this after the projectile's been instantiated. I'll do that. Extra damage. Or realistically, I can just go projectile dot damage. And then we just add it plus equals current weapon slot dot muzzle upgrade. Dot damage. Right? Well, I created a function, so I could probably just call the function. Make it a little bit neater. Get damage. Just comment them out yet. I might make it I might make it a signal at some point just to clean up the code a little bit, but for now we'll do this. All right. So we add that to the damage. So realistically, that's all we need to do. Everything else should just work. Right? Like everything I've done up to this point to set this up is fine. Now, to test this, I mean, I'm fairly confident, but we can do something fun and ridiculous, right? Fun and ridiculous is the point, is the entire point. So for the muzzle upgrade, laser sight silencer, we can just make this like 500. Let's just do something crazy. Watch these boxes fly. So we've got regular behavior, and then we've got silencer behavior, which just yeets them from existence, actually. So it definitely works. It's not even fun, it just deletes them. I guess the question is now, it should add, it's pretty explosive, but does it really? Or does it make it worse if I make it like 1? I should probably just do a printout. It's going to be clearer to me. Seems okay to me. We can go back to the weapon state machine and we can just go, this looks like shit, I'm sorry. Let's go, we can just print out projectile damage. Should be 11. So it's 10, and then we add the silencer, and it's 11. So it's definitely working, so that's great, that's fine. It's a very basic, but sometimes that's all you need. Like, realistically, we'll probably need to up the complexity at some point if we want to get, like, add more stats to it or whatever. I don't know, but, like, we have a way of doing it. That's the main point that I'm trying to do now, is just have a way of getting to these things and a system of, like, what things do. Like the muzzle does damage, and I'm thinking that the stock will increase the reload speed or something. I don't know. Maybe the fire rate. The fire rate probably makes a lot of sense. So we'll go with that. But it is late, and I need to go to sleep because I have a job, and I have to go to work. So it is time for me to bid you a farewell. Bid you adieu. It's the French. So I don't know. I don't speak French. Anyway, so yeah, that is me, and I'm gonna minimize this. I don't know what this is gonna look like. I've been working on job. Yeah, I know. I have one of those. I have the shout out now. I added this finally. I finally added this to OBS. So now I can't really read the thanks for the support. So thank you to Jips, Hollyaza, Color Pants, Rab, Big Green, Nike, Jace, Brickety, YGG, Scormanga, and Mr. Sparkle. There's still enough people that I can read these out one by one. Hopefully one day I won't have time for that. Anyway, you can either, there's like a million different ways you can support me. It's always, obviously if you don't have the money, don't worry about it. But yeah, you get access to my assets and my time. Top tiers get an hour of my time. Other than that, guys, like, subscribe, follow if you're on Twitch. Should we raid somebody? Do we have many people watching on Twitch right now? We can raid somebody, why not? Tag, Godot. Who have we got? Up jump. We've got the Captain Coda. I mean, he's probably a bit big. He's big time, so we want to get someone that's less big time than him. Software and game development has been up for a minute. Let's have a look. These. Awesome. All right, we'll go check this guy out. All right, guys, it's been great hanging out. I think we made some pretty good progress today. I don't know. Maybe we didn't. I'm honestly not too sure. I could be wrong. I support you by yapping in the chat. Yeah, that's fine. I actually like that. That makes things way more entertaining for me. Alright guys, I'll see you next time.